the news. The family of Joanna Demafelis, the OFW found in a freezer in Kuwait, cries for justice. They want her murderer thrown in jail. Another historic event on the sidelines of the Winter Olympics. Kim Jong-un invites South Korean President Moon Jae-in to visit Pyeongchang, potentially setting up the first meeting of Korean leaders in over a decade. And James Reid and Nadine Lustre are ready to conquer the stage once again in their upcoming nationwide tour. Good evening, I'm Ida Rodriguez. Thanks for joining us. Before we go to our top story, the Supreme Court, through a vote of 10 in favor and 5 against, upheld the one-year extension of martial law in Mindanao. The majority says the ongoing rebellion in the South was the reason for the extension. But dissenting justices say no such thing is taking place. Our Anjo Alimario has more.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby declare Marawi City liberated from the terrorist influence that marks the beginning of rehabilitation of the city.
The Supreme Court says ISIS-inspired rebellion persists in the South, even with the liberation of Marawi City. It says military data show the remaining mountain members have regrouped, substantially increased in number, and determined to turn Mindanao into an ISIS territory. In her concurring opinion, Associate Justice Stella Perlas Bernabe also says there is no evidence that rebel movement in the South, comprised of the Maute Hapilon group and other rebel groups, has been inactive or has lost capability to mount a public uprising. Associate Justice Samuel Martres even says that that of their leaders and fighters could have wrongly enlightened the remaining members. This might have also resulted in a stronger resolve to continue fighting the government. But Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio believes the rebellion has ceased and the threats posed by the remaining groups do not constitute an actual rebellion. Carpio points out the ability to rebel without an actual rebellion or invasion is not a reason to extend martial law. The court also says the president's decision to add the New People's Army's intensified insurgents as basis was not uncalled for. He explains even as NPA and ISIS-inspired groups differ in ideology, they share the purpose of overthrowing the government. Bernabe says while the NPA has been recognized to be a decades-long rebellion, its intensified insurgence bears significant impact on Mindanao security. But Associate Justice Alfredo Benjamin Caguiwa says if there's an actual rebellion by the NPA, it must be covered by a new declaration. Caguiwa explains it's incredible how a decades-long rebellion can be used as basis of extended military rule triggered by an attack that took place only months ago. He says if the majority's position will be followed, then violent attacks by different armed groups could easily form the basis of an endless chain of extensions. Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.
Breaking news overseas, a historic gesture. Rogue regime leader Kim Jong-un invites the South Korean president to North Korea. CNN's Paula Hancock reports.
The North Korean delegation now in Seoul has invited South Korea's president to visit Pyongyang. That's right, the capital of North Korea. The invitation was given on behalf of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un by his sister. You see her screen right there. Kim Yo-jong met South Korean President Moon Jae-in during a historic meeting at South Korea's presidential palace, the Blue House. Kim Yo-jong and North Korea's ceremonial head of state are in South Korea to attend the Winter Games. You see him there, screen right. President Moon hopes the Games will improve relations between the two Koreas. Paul, if I can ask you to dig into your years of insights based on reporting on this country, how significant, how big is this news?
Well, Cyril, this is significant. Kim Jong-un, the North Korean leader, has extended a personal invitation to the South Korean President Moon Jae-in. It is significant, absolutely. It was a letter that was hand-delivered by Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Yo-jong. She was here for the Pyeongchang Olympics, but obviously the politics has gone a lot further than just attending the opening ceremony and the niceties of shaking hands.
That was CNN's Paula Hancock's reporting. Now, the Winter Olympics is sending a message of peace, this as leaders of two warring nations shake hands. At the opening ceremony in Pyeongchang, South Korean President Moon Jae-in twice shook hands with Kim Yo-jong, the sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. This encounter fuels hope that the Olympics will begin the process of reconciliation on the troubled peninsula. Kim Jo-young's presence is historic in itself, being the first member of the North's ruling dynasty to visit the South since the end of the Korean War in 1953. Athletes from the two countries also showed unity as they marched under the unification flag. They also took selfies with each other. More than 3,000 athletes from 93 countries are participating in the Winter Olympics, happening until the 25th. In entertainment news, big win for KZ Tandingan. She beat British pop star Jessie J in this week's episode of Chinese reality contest Singer 2018. The Filipina singer performed a jazzy rendition of Adele's Rolling in the Deep with a twist. She rapped in Filipino. Jessie J, who's behind pop hits like Price Tag and Flashlight, is still in second place for a second straight week. The rankings on the show are based on votes from the studio audience. The show pits famous singers from countries around the world. In sports, NBA superstar LeBron James speaks about the Cavs' flurry of deals at the trade deadline. The Cavs revamped their roster through a series of transactions Friday. The Cavs got the likes of Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. from the Lakers, among others. This comes after Cleveland traded players like Isaiah Thomas and Dwayne Wade. Speaking to reporters, LeBron says the Cavs needed to carry out these changes.
The trade deadline is always a difficult time for everybody, and so, huge shout out to my former teammates, Shump, D-Rose, Jay Crowder, Isaiah, D-Wade, and especially Channing. Losing a great guy like that, and losing those great guys, period. Obviously wish it could have been a lot better than it was, and definitely wish all six guys, including D-Rose, said the best.
Now, speaking of Dwayne Wade, he's back to where it all began with the Miami Heat. Wade returned to Miami with a quiet game against the Milwaukee Bucks. But D-Wade's presence was more than enough as the Heat snapped a 5-game losing skid. Final score 91-85. Wade returns to Miami 2 years after he left the team for the Chicago Bulls in 2016. He's also Miami's all-time leader in points, games, assists, and steals. Still ahead, President Duterte issues a warning to those who want to exploit Benham rice. And we take a look at the all-new BMW X3. Is this the future of luxury SUVs? Find out when Newsroom Weekend returns. Hello, good evening to our viewers on Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us tonight. Abangan nyo po in the next gap yung storya natin about Joanna Demafelis, yung OFW po na pinatay sa Kuwait. Siya po yung natagpuan sa isang freezer. So si Rex Remitio ay may storya tungkol dito. That's coming up in the next after this short break, So also we're trying to get the Labor Secretary to tell us about the plans after President Duterte ordered the Labor Department to send home distressed OFWs in Kuwait. Stay tuned. This is the Newsroom on CNN Philippines. Welcome back. Our top story, she was one of millions of Filipinos who had left the country to seek a better life. Joanna Daniela Demafelis went to Kuwait and worked as a housemaid, but the promise of a bright future reached a tragic end as she was found dead in a freezer. Her family cries for justice. Our Rex Remito tells us more.
An ambitious, hopeful Joanna Demafelis of Sara, Iloilo left for Kuwait to work as a domestic helper in May 2014. In her last Facebook post before she left, she says, "Huwag kang magalit sa taong kinakailangan kang iwan." She also says, marahil ang dahilan ng katapusan ay hindi ang katotohanan na may panibagong aasahan, kundi ang realidad na lahat ng bagay, matibay man o hindi, ay may hangganan. Her loved ones never saw her again. Her sister Joyce Demafelis says since then, Joanna had sent money every 3 months. It was only then that they got to talk over the phone, and only for a few minutes. The last time was in 2016.
Sabi ko, kung ano ba, may nangyayari ba dyan sa kamusta yung kalagayan mo? Sabi niya, okay lang naman daw siya. Kasi nag-worry kami ni Papa, probinsya at ni Mama, kasi madami yung nangyari sa Kuwait. Pero yung sa akin, parang binabantayan siya ng amo niya.
Then on Friday, a shocking news. Authorities informed them of Joanna's gruesome death.
Ay pumunta nga ako kahapon dito sa akin tanghali, mga bandang alauna ng hapon. Yung taga-uwa. Ayun, nagbalita sa akin na kung kilala ko daw si Joanna Demafelis. Yung kako, anak ko yan.
Nakahubad daw. At saka daw sa freezer. Nakabalugtot.
No, parang pinirito ang gilitsyon. Is there something wrong with your culture? Is there something wrong with the values? But pinansya yung katawan.
A fuming President Duterte blames the Kuwaiti government for not acting on the case. He stays firm on continuing the deployment ban of Filipino workers to Kuwait. The president also reminds them of the country's help when it sent troops to help Kuwait against invading Iraqi forces in the Gulf War of 1991.
We did not fail you. Or how come my countrymen are now suffering brutality, cruelty, and death? And you seem to be oblivious about it.
He now wants the Labor Department to let distressed Filipino workers come home in 72 hours. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello says he supports the president's position and calls for the signing of an agreement to protect workers in Kuwait.
The Kuwaiti government should already sign the memorandum of an understanding that has been pending with them for the last 3 years.
But for the family of Joanna, all they want is justice and to put her murderer behind bars. Rex Remitio, CNN, Philippines.
The International Criminal Court is hoping to get the government's cooperation in its decision to conduct a preliminary examination of the war on drugs. ICC prosecutor Fatou Bensouda vows to exercise independence and impartiality in fulfilling the mandate of her office. She says there's no timeline to be followed, as everything will depend on the information they're able to gather to determine if an investigation should be initiated.
I reiterate that my office undertakes this work with full independence and impartiality in accordance with its mandate and the applicable legal instruments of the court. As we do, we hope to count on the full engagement of the relevant national authorities in the Philippines and Venezuela.
Aside from the Philippines, the ICC is also doing a preliminary examination in Venezuela for the crimes supposedly committed by security forces against perceived members of the political opposition. President Rodrigo Duterte welcomes any investigation that the ICC may conduct on alleged extrajudicial killings in the country, but the president questioned the basis of the probe.
Go ahead and proceed in your investigation. Find me guilty, of course. Can do that. I do not want imprisonment. I said, I beg of you to find a country where they execute, by the way, what is EKJ? We are not clear on that definition. What is extrajudicial killing? May I lecture on you? There is a Philippine Constitution. It provides for remedies for the state to seek a redress of grievance from criminals.
In other news, President Duterte says he will order the Philippine Navy to fire at those who would try to exploit Benham Rise. Speaking in Davao City yesterday, the president maintains the Philippines has sovereign rights over Benham Rise, a rich underwater plateau off the coast of Aurora. This means the country has the sole right to explore for oil, gas, and other mineral resources there. The president says he will have the military patrol the area.
I hope it does not reach Guam now, because Guam will be ours also. But just the same, we cannot fight America, like China. We'll just keep quiet. But if you get something there from the economic zone, I will order the Navy to fire.
This threat comes after he ordered the cancellation of existing permits for foreign research in Benham Rise. The palace clarified there was no research ban, as it merely imposes an additional requirement. Critics have slammed the government's move to allow China to conduct research in the area. BMW is launching the brand new model of its popular X3 SUV. This is the first car out in the market after San Miguel Corporation bought a majority stake in the local distributor last year. Claire Yao tells us the X3 is expected to be a bestseller.
Even before the all-new X3 rolled out onto the stage, BMW officials already knew this was going to be their bestseller for the year. This is the third generation of the X3, which has so far sold more than 1.5 million units globally since its launch in 2003. With sharp curves, large grills, and angular lights, this mid-sized SUV is strong and muscular. But it's even more agile than before, a full 55 kilos lighter than old models. It's easy driving, whether on or off the road. Inside the X3, it's all about sophistication, with a 10.25-inch central display and the latest technology connecting the driver with the car.
If you've ever had problems navigating and driving at the same time, the BMW has the solution for you. This toggle acts as a trackpad, and you can actually start writing your destination, and the car will search it for you. There you have it.
There was, however, one more detail car enthusiasts wanted to hear: the price tag, especially after the train law raised taxes on new cars. The good news? The price is staying the same. The X-Line will sell for 4.39 million pesos. The high-performance M Sport will sell for 4.59 million pesos.
This year, because it's an all-new model, we are expecting that over 20% of our volume mix will be driven by the all-new X3.
This is the first car launch after San Miguel Corp bought out the majority stake in BMW's local distributor last year. Officials say the business can only grow faster under the wing of San Miguel. The goal is to be the #1 luxury car brand in the country.
All the endeavors of San Miguel has been widely successful. BMW being its first endeavor in the automotive industry. We are here also to contribute to that leadership, of course.
SUVs are still the most popular cars in the Philippines, so 2018 will be an X year for BMW.
So aside from the X3, we also are going to introduce an all-new model, market introduction soon of the X2. We will also have the new X4. By the end of the year, we will see an all-new X5.
With a brand new lineup for the X series, BMW hopes it can keep the sales growing this year, tax or no tax. Claire Yao, CNN Philippines.
Still ahead, after a successful concert last night, James Reid and Nadine Lustre are ready to perform for their fans in their nationwide tour. And the new Sharon Gabby fast food commercial is making people swoon, but one couldn't help but cry. Details when Newsroom Weekend returns. Viewers on Facebook Live, thank you po for joining us tonight, and thank you also for all the greetings. I'll start to greet some of you watching us. Si Sofia Zaiza Zacarias is watching from Abu Dhabi. Ronaldo de Guzman says, good evening Philippines, watching from Bulacan. Jean Asis is watching us from Kuwait. Gilmar Pradas Tono watching from Turkmenistan. And si Joff Castro is also saying good evening. Also si Popsy from Hong Kong. Aceber Cortel is saying hi. And si Fer R. Lopez also. Marami pa, no? Si Rod Moreno is watching us. Si Maria Josefina Delgado, Jeff Bungkasan. Hello, Jeff. I hope you're enjoying in Clark. Stay tuned for more stories, guys. The newsroom's back with more stories. President Duterte threatens to shut down Boracay because of pollution. On Friday, Duterte says he gave Environment Secretary Roy Cimatu 6 months to clean up the island. Duterte warns Boracay might lose visitors if conditions don't improve. Cimatu has already instructed field offices in Boracay to inspect the sewer facilities of businesses on the island. Boracay saw more than 2 million visitors from January to December of last year. This was a 16% increase from the number of tourist arrivals in 2016. On to another tourist destination. Witness how Boholanos recovered from natural disasters and see how ready they are to once again share their island's treasures to the world. Watch this.
Mayong buntag kaninyong tanan, kini ang inyong makita sa St. Peter Church. It was built at 1602. Mao ni ang pinakaduhang oldest church in Bohol. Unya makita nato ang hinungdan niini mao ang paglinog ug makita ninyo ang mga tawo nga nagbuhat for rehabilitation.
Hugmo si mahal, sir.
On October 15, 2013, Boholanos were shocked in broad daylight by a magnitude 7.2 earthquake that damaged several historical churches and major infrastructure in the province.
Parang ghost town, wala na kaming makikita na magandang tanawin dito sa lubok.
But years after, Bohol was able to rise from that tragedy. Damaged roads were rehabilitated, houses were rebuilt with stronger foundation, and centuries-old churches were reconstructed from the rubble. But for some of these historical landmarks, like the Santa Cruz Parish Church in Maribojoc and Our Lady of Light Church in Loon, which totally collapsed, it will take time before they can be brought back to their original form.
We are here at Our Lady of Light Parish in Loon, Bohol. And this is one of the churches that was declared totally damaged. And we hope and pray that this project would end in 2 years' time.
But despite tragedies faced long ago, the province of Bohol has come a long way in rebuilding what was lost and strengthening its people. Its new slogan, Behold Bohol, has helped strengthen the province's position as a prime eco-cultural tourist destination.
It's very interesting because Bohol has everything that you want to see in a tourist destination. It is a unique island with diverse attractions. Everything that you see in Bohol is something to behold.
Tourist arrivals in Bohol have even increased by 156% after the earthquake struck. And with the construction of a new Panglao International Airport, Bohol expects more tourists, both local and foreign.
So a lot of excitement is going on in Bohol, not only in tourism, but in trade, in commerce, in mutual exchanges of culture and education. These are opening the frontiers of Bohol's development. So for a visitor who comes to the province of Bohol, just enjoy.
From a disaster, Bohol has transformed into a major player in tourism. Beyond stories of resilience, Bohol holds a treasure trove of stories and adventure waiting to be discovered.
Catch the full special presentation of Rediscover Paradise tonight at 8 p.m. Ravers at the world's first zero-gravity dance party and the birth of a baby octopus will surely blow your mind. Here's CNN's Jeremy Roth with Take a Look at This.
You are looking at the world's first zero-gravity dance party. the World Club Dome Zero Gravity. It was a weightless dance party organized by Big City Beats. Ravers enjoyed up to 30 seconds of weightlessness during each 8,000-foot descent of the parabolic flight. The venue, a customized Airbus A310, is usually used for astronaut training and scientific research. More than 30,000 people entered a competition to win a spot on the flight. Winners were chosen from countries like South Korea, Australia, England, and the U.S. Seeing double? At New Trier High School in Illinois, that's the norm. Maybe because the school's sophomore class has 44 sets of twins and 1 set of triplets. The figures set not 1, but 2 Guinness World Records. The records are most twins and most multiples in a single academic year at one school. In a class of just over 1,000, the group exceeds the national average for multiples by nearly 3 times. This may make you do a double take, because if you blink, you may miss it. It's video of a baby octopus being born at the Virginia Aquarium and Marine Science Center. You can see the sudden color change as soon as it enters the water for the first time. Experts say that could be either due to the stress of being hatched or from the instinct to camouflage itself. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Now here at home, the pageant season is definitely on. Some of this year's Binibining Pilipinas candidates proved they're both beautiful and talented. 15 of the 40 contestants showcased their skills from singing to dancing. Pageant fans were thrilled.
I've seen Catriona during her talent competition in Miss World before, and I know the prowess of her voice, and I want to hear it again. I'm rooting for Catriona, Eva Patalinhog, and Michelle Gumabaw.
Coronation Night happens on March 18th at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. It appears the revolution has only just begun for James Reid and Nadine Lustre after conquering the Big Dome last night. On Instagram, Viva Artists Agency says they're up for 3 more concert nights. That's on February 17th in Pampanga, April 29th in Davao City, and May 19th in Cebu City. Jadine's concert sent their fans a buzz on social media. The hashtag Revolution, the Jadine concert, was the top trending topic on Twitter this morning. Fans are also thrilled to see Sharon Cuneta and Gabby Concepcion back together, at least in a new commercial. Their ad titled Kamusta Ka was released yesterday. The sight of the two plus the song playing in the background was enough to make it go viral. Here's a look.
Kumusta ka? May ibang gislap ang iyong mata. Halata ng daigdig mo ngayon ay kay saya o kay tagal na ako'y nag-isip at naghintay. Walang masabi kundi kumusta ka?
Now, the ad that made fans crazy sent a feeling of nostalgia to Sharon's aunt, Helen Gamboa. The megastar says the veteran actress was there since the beginning of the Sharon-Gabby love story. She was also there for her during the first breakup when Sharon was only 16. The megastar later learned that Gabby visited her, but her aunt Helen did not tell her. Here's the video showing that Tita Helen crying while watching the McDo commercial. Sharon tells her Aunt Helen to stop crying, saying she and Gabby are both happy with their own separate lives. That's what's happening in the newsroom this Saturday, February 10. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Stay with CNN Philippines, where we tell the story of the Filipino.